right, so it's that time of the show again where we visually represent what the numbers mean. Obviously now national vote counting has completed and the numbers have trickled in. So as the IEC will be declaring the results as per their announcement today, let's take a look visually at what those numbers represent. In fact, we're going to be starting off with your top three political parties. As you can see on your screens here, we've got President Cyril Ramaphosa from the ANC. He is sitting at officially 6.443. That's just over 6 million votes for him, just under 6.5 million votes that the African National Congress received under his leadership. Second in place, John Steenhuisen is the representative for the Democratic Alliance. He received about 3.49 million votes, and that translates to about 22%. That's just over half of what the ANC received at 40% there, that large green bar graph on as the first bar graph. And then obviously to the third position now, Jacob Zuma representing the Mkhonto weSizwe party, sitting at 2.3, receiving about 15% of that vote. So nationally, that is that picture for you. Perhaps as we hone in from that national picture into your provincial now, let's take a look at those top three provincial statistics that are coming through as we graphically represent that as well. The ANC, in fact, leading, we've got President Cyril Ramaphosa there at 1.1 million for Mpumalanga province. That's about 62% for the ANC that they've garnered on that front. In Mpumalanga province, second was the Democratic Alliance, that party profile there represented by John Steenhuisen, sitting at 266,000. It's about 15% of the provincial vote in that province. And Julius Malema from the EFF, of course, 181,456. That is at 10%. So moving on from Mpumalanga, let's take a look now at your Eastern Cape province. That is the second province that we're profiling. The African National Congress under the helm of President Cyril Ramaphosa receiving 49%. That's about 195,267 votes. John Steenhuisen, 21% received there. From the Democratic Alliance, 83,848. And then Julius Malema, 52,433. They garnered about 13%. From the Eastern Cape onto the Western Cape province, let's take a look at what those results represent provincially. You can see John Steenhuisen from the DA at just over 1 million votes, receiving about 55%. They received a majority in that province. President Ramaphosa there representing the African National Congress at 384,853. It's about 20% of the vote. And then, as you can see, new entrant there for the Democratic Alliance, of course, knocking off some of the other parties provincially in the Western Cape. Gayton McKenzie from the Patriotic Alliance, receiving 153,607. That's about 8% of that vote there. So those are your party profiles provincially. Free State Province also being represented. The ANC garnering 430,000, just over 430,000. That's about 52% of the vote. John Steenhuisen second, 181,000, 22%. And EFF receiving just over 111,000. That is 13% of the vote in the Free State Province. Next province is the highly contested Gauteng Province. Let's look at what those results reflect now. 35% awarded to President Cyril Ramaphosa from the African National Congress. That was just over 1.3 million votes. John Steenhuisen sitting at 27%. Receiving just over 1 million votes. So that was a highly contested race, obviously. That garners about 27% of the party's profile there. And Julius Malema from the EFF at 504,986 at about 13%. KZN, another party that has been a hot topic for the country. We're looking at the profiles there. MK Party, represented by former President Jacob Zuma, sitting at 1.5 million. That was 45% garnered there. Not enough to receive a majority, but nonetheless leading that pack, that race in KZN. Hlabisa is obviously from the IFP there. Velinkosini Hlabisa, 633,762, garnered 18%. And the ANC, 595,000. Under the helm of Cyril Ramaphosa, receiving about 17% in KwaZulu-Natal. So those are the provinces. We're going back to Mpumalanga's profile now. Just to reiterate, of course, Ramaphosa there under the ANC, President Cyril Ramaphosa, 584,000. That was 51%. So they have obviously topped the 50% threshold there. And they obviously followed by Zuma from MK Party, 193,000, 17%. Julius Malema from the EFF sitting at 14% in Mpumalanga. Limpopo's next. Let's take a look at what the statistics reveal. The ANC, with President Cyril Ramaphosa leading that pack, just over 1 million, receiving 73,000 in that 73% rather in that province. Malema sitting at 199,900. That was about 14%. And John Steenhuisen's DA, 84,388. That is about 6% that had been garnered in Limpopo. So that was your profile provincially. Those are what the stats reveal. That's how South Africa decided to, exercise the democratic right to vote. And as we now take a look at what that leaderboard looks like nationally now. Obviously, we're looking at the voter turnout, which had been predicted as per that CSIR model. 58.6% is the lowest voter turnout we've had in the country since the democratic dispensation in 1994. As reflected, these are what the results look like. ANC, just over 6 million, 6.44. Their percentage garnered, 40.2% nationally. That roughly translates to 160 seats for them. The DA coming in second, they're on 3.49 million. That was the number of votes that they had received. It translated to 21.8% nationally. That was as the votes stand. And then, of course, represented there means that they will be receiving 87. That's an increase of 3 seats, in fact. MK Party, new kid on the block, they have entered the fray. They were at 2.33, 14.6%, and that garners them 57 seats in the National Assembly. EFF at 1.52, 9.5% nationally. That's 39 seats for the EFF, followed by the IFP at 617,000. That's 3.9%, 17 seats for them. And then obviously Patriotic Alliance also making an entrance there, 329,992. It's about 2.1%. Those will translate to 9 seats. So just running off that top 8 leaderboard, Freedom Front Plus, 217,000. 217,000 translates to about 1.4%. 6 seats there for them. Action SA also receiving 6 seats, sitting at 1.2% nationally, just over 190,606. So these are obviously the predicted seats as per the CSIR model. We continue to monitor developments. We officially await the IC to declare those results a little later today.